welcome to Forbes India from the field. She's a 6-time Grand Slam champion, a former world number 1 in doubles, and the first Indian woman to crack the top 50 in singles. Meet Sania Mirza, one of India's most decorated athletes. In this episode, Mirza speaks about the resilience and the fighting spirit she's imbibed from her path-breaking journey.
I was a really good student actually in school, and I really wanted to be. I was one of those very boring bookworms who really did not want to miss a single day of school. And I almost didn't want to play tennis because I wanted to not be able to not get that 90%. Like for me, it was a very failing sort of feeling. But the thing is, that same feeling, I kind of like transferred it when I played tennis. And I think that's why I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and it really irritates me if something doesn't go according to 100%. And I know that's not always good, but I do think that that's kind of my personality trait. So it just kind of went from school to tennis, and I happen to be talented at tennis, I guess. So to be the best that you can be, you need to have that drive, and you need to have that almost a stubbornness in you that no matter what happens, I'm going to give my best to achieve it. And of course, in the end, it doesn't always happen the way that you want it to happen. Things don't always fall into place, but there are many times that things do fall into place. If somebody is not born with it, so to say, I do think that a certain kind of tuning can bring them to a certain extent of having that drive. Again, it just depends how badly that person wants to succeed, how badly that person really wants to do what they want to do. So this is not necessarily with sport, it's with really anything. The education that I got from sport, to have that attitude of never saying die attitude, or to say that, if we fail today, it's okay, we'll try again tomorrow. Sport is the only profession that gives you that chance every single day. It gives you that chance every day to wake up and become a better tennis player, in my case, or become better than what you were yesterday, to try harder. And sport really teaches you how to be humble in victory. It teaches you how to be defiant in defeat, really, because I think that it is something that no other education can teach you, no other profession can teach you, because we literally lose and win on a daily basis. We always know that there'll be another day, as long as we want there to be one. And I think that is how I have really fought those down. Definitely the wrist injury was something where I had gone into depression. I had really struggled mentally. I mean, physically, of course, but emotionally and mentally as well. It was a rough period, not just, in my sport life, in my personal life. I remember not coming out of my room for a couple of months. I remember eating every single meal in my room. And I'm not saying that as sports people, we don't have those downs. Of course we do. We have those downs. It's about how you come out of those downs is what really counts. It's not every person has a bad day. I always joke saying that, when you have a bad day, only you know about it. When I have a bad day, the whole world, it's written about it everywhere. I think that was a situation that was extremely difficult for me, emotionally and mentally. And I would not have made it out if I would have not gotten the help that I needed, if I would not have had my parents around me, my family around me. Of course, initially, when you're younger, everything is a lot more difficult when you're younger, right? Because you don't have the experience, you don't have the mental state to sort of deal with pressures like those. And at 34, it's a lot easier for me to say I really ignore most of it. 95% of the time, it doesn't really affect me. But of course, there is that 4-5%. There will be a day in a year when I will wake up from the wrong side of the bed, and the human in me will want to react. And it is very normal. We are sort of accessible to them in more ways than one. They have the right to say anything and whatever they feel like about that person, because it's almost like you're a public property. I mean, It's difficult. I won't say it's easy. It's definitely difficult. But if we're counting people that have said the negatives, we also have to count the millions and millions of people who have said the positives as well. Just because a woman becomes a mother, she does not and should not give up on her own dreams, because a father is not expected to do that. So why is a mother expected to do that? Why is the mother expected to give birth and just put everything on the side and just say, okay, I'm going to be with this child every single minute of the day? It does not make you a bad mother or a bad person. I feel that as a parent, we have to give our 100%. Everybody has different 100%. I'm a huge believer in equality in every single thing, in everything, whether it is finances, whether it is anything. And when it comes to, and thankfully I have a husband who believes in that as well. So, there's never been a time where when I go to Tokyo, if his hand doesn't get a visa, I mean, my husband's going to stay with him here, at home. And that's totally fine with us. Yesterday I was in the mall for 2 hours, and everywhere I go and they're like, where's your son? And I'm like, he's not attached to my hip. I mean, it's okay that he's not with me. I'm 100% sure my husband is not asked that every time he steps out saying, where's your son? It's not an equal playing field. Like I said, everybody expects a mother or a wife to make certain sacrifices which are larger than it is for a man. And that is a fact. It's us, working people like us or working women like us who have to make that difference and lead by example. And that's exactly what I am trying to do. And we should all try and do it in whatever capacity that we can. Well, I definitely do think that I work physically harder than I used to work when I was 25 per se, because I don't think my body needed it at that point. But today my body at 34, if I don't do everything that I'm needed to do for my body to stay fit and then recover, I will not make it to the next day, in one piece. That's something that I've started working over the last 3-4 years. Of course, when I had a child, I put on a lot of weight. I put on 23 kilos. Forget playing tennis. I was like, am I ever going to be healthy and fit again? I mean, because I had never been overweight in my life. So I didn't know how my body was going to react. And luckily, my body reacted as an athlete's body should, fortunately. So it did react, and it kind of sprung back to where it needed to be for me to be able to compete. But since then, my recovery for sure has become slower.
And Sania Mirza!